It was Valentine's Day, and I was determined to make it unforgettable for Emily. I'd messed up before, cheated on her, lied to her, and nearly lost her, but this time I was going to do things right. We'd been together for 2 years, and despite my flaws, she'd stuck by me. I owed her this. We left London in my black sedan, heading for the Cotswolds. The plan was simple: a romantic dinner at a secluded bed and breakfast, far from the noise of the city. Emily was thrilled. She loved the countryside, and I loved seeing her smile. The drive started perfectly. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Emily leaned back in her seat, her auburn hair catching the light, and I couldn't help but feel lucky. The radio played soft jazz, and we talked and laughed like we used to. For the first time in months, everything felt right. But as we entered a dense forest, the mood shifted. The trees grew taller, their branches twisting like skeletal fingers. The road narrowed, and the GPS suddenly died. Emily glanced at me, her green eyes filled with unease. "James, are we lost?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. I forced a smile. "Relax, love. We'll be there soon." That's when we saw her. A woman stood by the side of the road, her white dress glowing in the dim light. She waved at us, her movements slow and deliberate. Her face was pale, almost ethereal, and her eyes, they seemed to pierce right through me. Emily gripped my arm. "James, don't stop. Something's not right." But I couldn't help it. There was something about the woman, something magnetic. I pulled over, ignoring Emily's protests. The woman approached the car, her footsteps silent. "Thank you for stopping," she said, her voice soft but chilling. "My car broke down. Could you give me a ride to the nearest town?" Emily shot me a look, but I nodded. "Of course. Hop in." The woman slid into the back seat, her presence sending a cold wave through the car. She introduced herself as Lila. Emily tried to make small talk, but Lila's responses were cryptic, her eyes never leaving mine in the rearview mirror. As we drove deeper into the forest, things began to go wrong. The car's engine sputtered, and the headlights flickered. The temperature inside dropped suddenly, and I could see Emily's breath forming clouds in the air. "James, something's wrong," she whispered, her voice shaking. Before I could respond, Lila leaned forward, her voice cold and commanding. "Turn left here." I didn't question it. My hands moved on their own, turning the wheel as if guided by an unseen force. The road became narrower, the trees closing in around us. Emily's breathing quickened, and I could feel her fear radiating through the car. "James, stop the car," she pleaded, but I couldn't. It was like I was no longer in control. Lila's laughter echoed through the car, sending shivers down my spine. "You're mine now," she whispered, her voice dripping with malice. The car came to a halt in front of an abandoned manor. Its windows were shattered, and ivy crawled up its crumbling walls. Emily turned to me, her eyes wide with terror. "James, what's going on?" she cried, shaking me. But I couldn't answer. My mind was foggy, my body moving on its own. Lila stepped out of the car, her form flickering like a ghostly apparition. "Come inside," she said, her voice echoing in the stillness of the night. Emily grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "Don't go in there," she begged, but I couldn't resist. I followed Lila into the manor, Emily trailing behind me. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of decay. The walls were adorned with faded portraits of women who looked eerily like Lila. "Who are you?" Emily demanded, her voice trembling. Lila smiled, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "I am the one he betrayed," she said, pointing at me. 50 years ago, he promised me eternal love, but he left me to die in this very house. Now, I claim what is mine." Emily's face paled as she realized the truth. I had been reincarnated, and Lila was a vengeful spirit determined to reclaim me. Lila's form shifted, her beauty giving way to a grotesque, decaying visage. She advanced toward me, her skeletal hands reaching for my throat. Emily, driven by love and desperation, stepped between us. "You can't have him," she shouted, her voice filled with defiance. Lila's laughter echoed through the manor. "Foolish girl," she sneered. "He belongs to me." But Emily refused to back down. She grabbed a rusted candlestick from the floor and swung it at Lila, the impact sending the spirit reeling. I collapsed to the ground, my mind finally clear. "Run!" Emily screamed, dragging me to my feet. We fled the manor, Lila's anguished screams echoing behind us. The car miraculously started, and we sped away, the forest seeming to close in around us. Days later, we returned to London, our lives forever changed. I was haunted by the memories of my past life, but Emily stood by me, her love unwavering. We vowed to move forward, together. But as we lay in bed that night, I heard a faint whisper in the darkness. "You can't escape me." I turned to Emily, but she was fast asleep. The sound of laughter echoed through the room, and I knew that Lila's curse was far from over. Before sharing my story, I have a little confession to make. I'm a bit of a ladies' man, if you know what I mean. That's why my girlfriend left me. She caught me cheating. We had a fight, but we broke up pretty okay, I think. I mean, we still talk, we're still buddies. We're just not a couple anymore. So I had no idea how I got to be alone 3 days before Valentine's. This made me a little sad, as all my friends were already hooked up and had plans for that night. I was alone, but not desperate. I took it as an opportunity. I got my best clothes, I made sure I looked the best I could, and went to a famous restaurant downtown. I was a predator and was looking for someone to spend this holiday with. I was cool. I arrived at the scene. There were both men and women, all single, all good looking. But I have standards. 2 women tried to make a move on me, but I rejected them. And then, I saw her. She was beautiful beyond words. She was seating alone at a table. Nobody even came close to her. I thought everyone was intimidated by her looks. I sat next to her and introduced myself. We talked. We had a drink. I asked her to come to my place. She agreed. We left, holding our hands. She was sweet. She said the right words. People looked a bit strange at me, but I brushed it off. I drove home. We talked some more. And I must end the story here, for although a womanizer, a bastard am not. You understand what happened? I felt amazing. The next night, I had a nightmare. I ignored it. The woman said her name is Sarah. We decided to begin a relationship. Things started to go missing, started to get misplaced. Was Sarah a thief? Nah, I don't think so. I became increasingly fascinated with her, but strange things started to happen. The TV would turn on and off. I spent another night with Sarah. I had nightmares, but the next morning she was gone. I asked the concierge, yeah, I'm a wealthy guy, what can I say, if she saw her, but he denied. Nobody came or left my building. Maybe she left early before the concierge could arrive. I brushed it off. What really set some alarm bells was the housekeeper's question. Are you seeing someone? She was a nice old lady who really cared for me. What do you mean? I have a girlfriend, her name is Sarah. The lady replied she didn't see her. Where was her? This gave me the chills. I went at the restaurant. I had a friend who worked there as a waiter. I asked him about the night I went there. He said it was a little weird the way I left. Like, I was leaving all alone and stuff. Alone. What the hell do you mean I left alone? I got to my apartment complex. I saw the cops and the ambulance. The concierge died of a heart attack. Something frightened him to death. Sarah paid me a visit that night. When she heard about the concierge, she laughed. I was horrified. My heart was pumping like crazy. Who was Sarah? What was Sarah? I found a small pocket Bible book and I prayed. I prayed like hell in that huge bathroom. I said, Lord, show me the truth about this Sarah. And that night we kissed, but I also had a vision. Sarah turned into a monster or a ghost, or I was scared as hell. I tried to run, but something slammed the door in my face. Sarah made a knife float into her hands. She slashed at me. I dodged. I tried hitting her, but my fists went like through thin air. Then Sarah pushed me down the stairs. I can't remember what happened next. When I woke up, I was sitting with the knife in my hands and a few cops were pointing their guns at me. I was told at the precinct that I tried to kill the housekeeper. I was thrown in jail. Sarah came into my cell and told me she can set me free. She said I owe her. I called the guard and I said all the right things, like I wasn't even speaking. Sarah was speaking through me. The guardian let me go. I convinced me I would pay for my release at a later date. At home, Sarah told me I have to drive to the restaurant I met her and just kill everyone there. A revenge for her murder some 50 years ago. A slaughter that would ensure enough negative energy for a dark portal. She was just planting thoughts inside my head. Despite not knowing what Sarah was, I felt strangely in love with her. Sarah had a way with words. I called my ex-girlfriend. She laughed at me, asked me how I get along with Sarah. This was all her revenge. She wished me a happy Valentine. Sarah wanted me to turn it into a Valentine slaughter. The restaurant would be full of people, full of lovers. Sarah and I both knew that. Sarah made me sleep, and when I woke up, it was midday. I was in a scrapyard. I was drawn to a certain car. It was old, like Prohibition era old. I found in its truck a Tommy gun and a few boxes of ammo. I saw a ghost, a mobster, but he soon faded. Sarah told me she chased him off. The mobster tried to warn me. It was time. Sarah told me to drive. We were to reach the target area soon, but no, I won't do that. I drove like crazy. Sarah kissed me and told me we'd be together forever. Admittedly, I was seduced. For a few moments, the thought of my deeds weren't so bad. After all, did I know those people? But I fought these feelings with all my might. Number I won't kill for love. I will find a real woman, not that creature or ghost or whatever that Sarah really was. Sarah tried to possess me again. We fought over the steering wheel. We were getting close to the restaurant. Sarah planted more thoughts inside of me. I looked at her and was fascinated again by her. If I kill them all, I could be happy with her forever. She will make me happy. She is not like the other women. I walked as hypnotized. I took the Tommy gun. The restaurant was full, couples of all ages. I took the vantage point and loaded my weapon. But no, I prayed and turned right back and walked to my car. Sarah made me stumble upon a rock. The weapon just glided on the ground and next to my hands. I got on my feet. Sarah kissed me. I took the weapon and approached the restaurant. I was never so in love. And nobody loved me so much as Sarah. I struggled to throw away the Tommy gun. I fled to the car. I entered it. So did Sarah. I saw her on the back seat. She looked scary as hell, like wounded or twisted. Avenge my death, or you will never know peace. I will destroy you. Zrania. I drove full speed to an approaching car. She made me turn the vehicle around. I chose to accelerate. I slammed into the restaurant's wooden fence. I was hurt. I lost consciousness. I woke up in a hospital. Next to me, I saw a priest. He also had some health problems. I told him about what happened. He agreed to help. The next day, we went to my house. Sarah put up a ferocious fight by making the furniture move, or all books just sit upside down in that library. She appeared to me and we kissed again. She made me try to get the priest to leave. I had a choice. I fought my feelings. These feelings were not real. She manipulated me. I continued the ceremony, and in the end, we banished Sarah forever. This whole experience changed me. I got my stuff together and became more serious. I found myself a nice woman shortly, and I settled down. We got married. We spent wonderful moments together and are really in love with each other. I'm happy with my wife and will never ever cheat on her. Other women no longer interest me. It's a fine and good life. Only that sometimes, at night, Sarah visits me in my dreams. She tells me we can still be together, and if I want that too, I have to carry on her Valentine's Day murderous plot. She's beautiful beyond words. She told me she loves me. Will I ever truly escape her poisonous charms? Or will she one day manage to break my will? If you enjoyed this story and have a chilling tale of your own, share it with us. Check the description for our email address and send us your story. It might be featured in a future video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories.